Hi, welcome to IAS Factor Radar, and I am Arjun R. Shankar. Have you heard about the Manki-Munda system? Yes, you heard it right, the Manki-Munda system coming all the way from Kolhan in Jharkhand. Now this Manki-Munda is getting more attention now because the Deputy Commissioner of the West Singhbum district in Jharkhand is now in the news because people accuse him. The Manki-Munda section, especially the Ho community, the Adivasi community of the Adivasi community is accusing him for behaving or being partial in decisions. And on the other side, there are people who is supporting the deputy commissioner. So what exactly is the problem that is happening in Jharkhand? We'll find out in this radar. So get an idea about what is this Manki-Munda. This is one of the oldest self-governance system in India, most probably even before the Britishers came in. The self-governance system. Just imagine where the village takes care of everything. You have a problem with the land distribution, the village takes care of it. You have some internal disputes, the village solves this problem. If you have another problem regarding or any doubts regarding the festivals, the rituals, the culture, the village takes the ultimate decision. Like you must have watched in the movies. This is the Manki-Munda system. So coming back, this has nothing to do with the revenue collection or tax collection until the British people came to these regions of Jharkhand. The Adivasi community of Ho, it has nothing to do with tax collection until the British people came. So what exactly is this? Imagine that there is a village. There is a head of the village. And this head of the village is called by the name Munda. So it is not limited to just one village. There are other villages here. So imagine that there are 10 to 12, 15 or 15 villages, 8 to 15 villages out there. You have different Mundas for each village. And this 8 to 15 village has one important head called the Manki. He is the Manki or the head of almost all the villages. So just imagine this is like a two appellate authority. You have a problem in one village. If it is not solvable, the dispute is not settled, just like we have the appellate authority, from the village of Munda, under the control of the Munda, it goes to the Manki. So Manki and Munda means it's the group of people who controls the villages, who takes decision regarding land distribution, justice, dispute settlements regarding anything, but nothing related to tax. This is the system. So now we'll understand what exactly is the system and why there is a controversy now. So this is the history. Even before the Britishers came, they had this idea. But after the Britishers came in, tried to bring in the Battle of Plassey, which is very popular. You must be knowing about the Battle of Plassey, 1757, and the Battle of Buxar, 1764, and the Treaty of Avod, which followed 1765. All these things are historically renowned, but the biggest takeaway from this historically is the British got the rights to collect the Diwani or the revenue. They got the power or the Diwani rights to start collecting revenue. But this was the time, and after in 1793, they brought in the permanent settlement, whereby the Zamindars became very powerful. So in the lands of the Ho, the Adivasi community, the new Zamindars came in, they pushed the Ho community beyond the limits and they started collecting rents at an exorbitant rate. So this abused and exploited the normal Ho people, the Ho Adivasi community, and in 1821, they started revolting, and that is the most popular, the Ho uprising in 1821, and even in 1831, you had the Cold Revolt. So all this is very important. So after both these revolts, English people finally understood that there is no point in finally engaging and fighting with the tribal people. It's waste of time. So the British people decided that let's have a compromise between them. That is when they decided that with the Ho community, we'll have a compromise, and what we'll do is we'll start respecting the Manki-Munda system. Let's respect that. Let's honor the Manki-Munda system, but with one thing. So what they did is, as a token of appreciation, they said, we are ready to appreciate this Manki-Munda system. You can carry on all the things, the land, the rituals, you carry on, take decisions regarding all those things. We are extremely happy with that. But there is one very important thing. The British people said to the monkeys and mundas that you should start collecting revenue for us. That is the biggest catch which happened here. Because in those times, they did not have the power to collect the revenue. But this time, British people found it very difficult to collect the revenue. Obviously, it was very difficult to go get the money from the tribal people. So indirectly, they made a thing wherein by they are supporting the monkeys and mundas, but they get the revenue at the right time. So they said, you start collecting revenue and we are recognizing you as Manki-Munda as the official people. But the problem happened is, if the monkeys or mundas could not collect the money from the villagers, if there was a default, then the monkeys and mundas were kept accountable. You are accountable for this. If they cannot pay the money, you pay the money. So that was the system. So British people, that was a fantastic compromise that they made with the tribal people. So this is, the rest of the history starts here. And they also made the monkeys and munda hereditary. If you die, let your next generation, let your sons be the next mundas or monkeys. That created the most important thing to be noted here. So this is the history of how the British people intervened. And the most important thing that you should remember here is, in 1833, the biggest thing that you should remember is the intervention of Captain Thomas Wilkinson. That is why Thomas Wilkinson studied the whole Adivasi community in detail. He studied everything about the Adivasi community, and he created something called as the Wilkinson's rule, or 31 rules. He coined 31 major important rules which were regarding this. So that is the Wilkinson's rule regarding the Manki-Mundas. So since I said it's a self-governing system, how do you think obviously the self-governing system works in India? You must have heard about the Panchayati Raj Act of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment 1992, where you have the Panchayati Raj thing, the Panchayat Samiti, the Grama Panchayat, the Zilla Parishad. So you have different bodies where all of them, the adults are elected. You have reservations for SC, STs, OBCs. It's an elected system is there. So when you have an elected system, the Panchayati Raj system, how do you think that this monkeys and mundas are functioning alongside? Don't you think it's an overlap of authority? That is the point. You must have also heard about the most important thing called the PESA Act 1996. It is the Panchayat extension to scheduled areas. So there are areas which are called scheduled area, which have got tribal representation. So obviously the tribal governance system is also to be respected. That is very key thing to be noted. So in areas like Jharkhand, you have the Grama Panchayat, the elected people on one side. On the other side, you have the monkeys and mundas on the other side. So there is definitely an overlap of administration, and you know it very clearly that when the Grama Sabha is in place regarding the land acquisitions, the mining, the Gram Sabha makes an ultimate decision. They take an important decision in that. But when you take a decision, you also have the decisions of the monkeys and mundas together. So this has created a big time problem, because when you see at the larger problems, whenever there is a decision to be taken, sometimes you also have to get the approval of the monkeys and mundas. Sometimes you also have to get the approvals of the Gram Sabha or the important people. So at one time you have the monkeys and mundas who are hereditary. So it's a hereditary position. And on the other side, obviously you have the Sarpanch or the Grama Mukhya who is elected. So this creates a big overlap regarding the decision making. So this is an accepted fact. But take a look at what happened here. You will understand that in the Jharkhand district, in the West Singhbhum district, there are a lot of the monkeys and munda people who believe that they actually started controlling certain communities, like say a Gope community whose ultimate job is to rear cattle. They're engaging in that profession. They said that you cannot go into any other profession. So in one time you can see that the monkeys and the mundas are restricting the people to practice other professions. So they have a complaint. And according to the whole Adivasi community, the monkeys and mundas are the ultimate owners of this land. That is also another thing to be noted. And while you see there are many other scheduled caste and OBC people who do not see the monkeys and mundas as their saviors. They have a problem with this traditional tribal people because they believe that they are only acting for the benefit of the tribal people. So this is also a big exploitation that they feel here. Back in the British time, when the Wilkinson's rule came here with 31 main things called as the Wilkinson's rules came here, the biggest thing that he did was the British people started railways in this region. So obviously when the railways came in, more trade came in, more number of outsiders, the non-tribal people, which they call as the Dikus, the non-tribal people started to come to these regions. And after a few years, it was seen that the non-tribal people or the people who came from outside were 9 times more than the tribal people. So once a land owned by the tribal people was slowly starting to be owned by the private people. So when a lot of other people came, obviously a new class of people came called as the money lenders. So money lenders started to control the land. So this is also history. And why now there is a dispute? The main dispute is because a lot of non-tribal people, most people from the SC community and the OBC community, and even select people from the whole community believes that the monkeys and mundas are abusing the position. Number one is because many of them are absent. They are not to be seen. They are not to be seen anywhere. So if you want to make a decision, definitely their approval is very important, but they are not to be seen anywhere. So the monkeys and mundas absenteeism is also a very important problem here. Number second, almost 1,850 positions or new jobs for the position of monkeys and mundas are pending. And almost 200 of them is not at all filled. It's still vacant. So the government is trying to fill these areas. And many of the tribals feel that most of the monkeys and mundas are people who are not literate people. So in order to solve a problem which concerns the village, it's very important that you have literacy. So many of them believes that you need more literate people who should come here. And they're asking for more Manki-Munda reforms. And obviously the literacy is a big time problem because you need to be really aware about the problems of the village. And a larger community strongly feels that you need more representation, especially the scheduled caste and the other OBC category believes that you need more representation. So obviously they created a problem and the district has actually initiated a query for that. And the deputy commissioner initiated a response for this. He said, the monkeys and munda should act more transparently. You should have a more responsibility and you should act more transparently. But most of the monkeys and munda people have seen that the deputy commissioner or the government is trying to remove the position of monkeys and mundas. So they are protesting. So at the same time, there are people who are asking for reforms, and at the same time, there are people from the tribal community who believe that the government is encroaching their rights. So this is the Manki-Munda, the system. I hope from the basic history, even before the British times and the Wilkinson's rules, how this work, I hope you have a clear-cut idea. So let's see with another topic in Radar, and this is Arjun R. Shankar.